my dear students. Welcome back to Ms. Fwang English, the place where you learn to speak real, natural English, the kind that native speakers use every day. I'm so happy you're here with me today. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Miss Fwang, your English teacher from the United States, and I help learners all around the world speak English with confidence and clarity. Before we begin, don't forget to click like if you enjoy learning English this way. Subscribe to join our growing community, and leave me a comment below telling me where you're watching from. I always love seeing students from Vietnam, India, Brazil, Indonesia, and so many other beautiful countries. Let's make this a fun and interactive lesson together. All right, are you ready? Today's topic is very special. It's called Speak Better English Vertical Bar Advanced Listening and Speaking Practice for Real Conversations. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever studied English for years, but still felt nervous when you had to talk to a native speaker? Maybe you understand grammar and vocabulary, but when someone speaks fast, you freeze. You can't catch all the words, and your mind goes blank. If that's ever happened to you, don't worry. You're not alone. It happens to almost every English learner. The good news is you can fix this. You can train your brain to listen and respond more naturally, just like native speakers do. And that's exactly what we'll do in this lesson together. So, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and imagine you're sitting across from me, having a friendly conversation in English. I'll guide you step by step through real-life examples, pronunciation practice, and natural expressions that you can start using today. Let's start with something simple but powerful. Imagine you're meeting someone for the first time. You want to sound confident and friendly. Most learners say, "Hello, how are you?" And the other person replies, "I'm fine, thank you." And you? That's okay, but it sounds a little robotic, a bit unnatural. Native speakers rarely speak that way in daily life. Instead, they say things like, "Hey, how's it going? Hi, how are you doing? Hey there, what's up?" Can you hear the difference? These phrases sound warmer and more relaxed. They feel natural, like something you'd hear between friends. Now, repeat after me slowly. Let's practice your pronunciation and rhythm. Hey, how's it going? Hi, how are you doing? What's up? Good. When you repeat, try to focus on the music of the sentence, not just the words. English has rhythm and stress. We don't pronounce every word equally. We stress the important ones. For example, how's it going? What's up? You can almost feel the bounce in your voice, right? That's what makes your English sound natural and confident. Now, let's practice how to respond. When someone asks you, "Hey, how's it going?" you can answer in different ways depending on how you feel. Let's look at some examples. "Pretty good, thanks." "Not bad. How about you?" "I'm doing great. How about yourself?" All of these sound friendly and natural. Try saying them out loud now. "Pretty good, thanks." "Not bad. How about you?" "I'm doing great. How about yourself?" Perfect. Remember, your tone matters as much as your words. English speakers often use rising and falling tones to express emotion. Here's a fun challenge for you. Say "pretty good, thanks" 3 times, each with a slightly different feeling. First, say it cheerfully, as if you're excited to see someone. Then, say it calmly, like you're relaxed. Finally, say it a bit tired, like you've had a long day but you're okay. See how much meaning you can express just with your tone? That's what makes spoken English so alive. Now, let's go a bit deeper. When we talk to someone in real life, we don't just exchange greetings. We continue the conversation naturally. For example, "Hey, how's it going?" "Not bad." "How about you?" "Good, thanks. I've been super busy with work lately." Then maybe you ask a question to keep the conversation going. "Oh, really? What kind of work do you do?" This kind of small talk is essential in English. It helps you build connections, sound polite, and keep the conversation flowing. Many learners struggle with this part. They don't know what to say after the greeting. So let's practice how to respond naturally and show interest. Let's try this short dialogue. Listen first. A. "Hey there. What's up?" B. "Not much. Just finishing some homework. How about you?" A. "Same here. I've got a big test coming up. Now let's repeat it together. Ready?" A. "Hey there. What's up?" B. "Not much. Just finishing some homework. How about you?" A. "Same here. I've got a big test coming up." Great. That's a natural, friendly conversation between two students. Notice how short and simple the sentences are. Native speakers often use short responses and contractions, like "I've got" instead of "I have got," or "What's up" instead of "What is up." So here's a little question for you. I want you to type your answer in the comments. When someone says, "Hey, what's up?" to you, how would you reply? Think of 1 or 2 natural answers and write them below. I'll read your comments and reply to some of you personally. Now let's talk about listening. Speaking naturally is one side of the conversation, but listening well is the other. To understand fast native English, you need to train your ears and your brain. Native speakers often connect their words. For example, listen carefully. "How are you doing?" often sounds like "How ya doing?" "What do you want to eat?" becomes "What do you want to eat?" Did you hear that blending? That's called connected speech. It's very common in natural English. Let's try to say it together slowly. "How ya doing?" "What do you want to eat?" Good job. Don't worry if it feels strange at first. The more you listen and repeat, the more natural it will become. And that's what this whole series will help you with, training your ear, your mouth, and your confidence to handle real-life English conversations. In the next part, we'll go deeper into how to sound more natural and fluent when you speak, including how to use fillers like, and actually the right way. But before you go, here's your small homework for today. Watch a short English video, maybe from a movie or a vlog, and try to notice how people greet each other. Write down at least 2 phrases you hear and bring them to the next lesson. All right, that's all for part 1. You did an amazing job today. Remember, progress takes time, but every minute you spend listening and speaking brings you closer to fluency. I'm proud of you for being here and practicing with me. Keep going, and I'll see you in part 2 of this lesson, where we'll make your English sound even more natural and confident. I'm so happy to see you here again. If you've already watched part 1, great job! You've learned how to greet people naturally and respond in real-life English. Now, in part 2, we're going to take the next step, learning how to sound more fluent, natural, and confident in conversations. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, I recommend going back to it first. It will help you understand this part even better. All right, let's begin. When we listen to native English speakers, it often feels like their sentences flow smoothly, almost like a song. They don't speak word by word, they connect ideas naturally. And one big reason they sound so natural is because they use something called fillers. Fillers are small words or sounds that people use while thinking. They help you sound relaxed and natural, not like you're reading from a textbook. For example, words like, like, actually, well, so, kind of. Let's listen to an example. A. So, what do you do in your free time? B. Well, I usually read books or, hang out with friends. Did you hear how well and made the answers sound more natural? The speaker didn't rush. They sounded relaxed and confident. Now, let's practice. Repeat after me slowly. Well, I usually read books or, hang out with friends. Again, well, I usually read books or, hang out with friends. Good job. When you use fillers, make sure you don't use them too much, just enough to sound natural. Here's another example. A. How was the movie? B. It was like really interesting but kind of confusing at the same time. Notice how like and kind of help the speaker sound more expressive. It's what real people say when they're sharing opinions. Now let's break this down together. Say it after me. It was like really interesting but kind of confusing at the same time. Perfect. All right. Now let's look at intonation. This means how your voice rises and falls when you speak. English uses melody to show emotion, interest, and meaning. Listen carefully to these 2 sentences. I'm fine. I'm fine. Same words but very different feelings. The first one sounds flat or tired. The second one sounds happy and excited. Your voice tone can completely change what people understand. So when you speak English, don't be afraid to use your voice. Let it rise and fall naturally. Here's a simple practice. Say really 3 times each with a different feeling. First, curious. Really. Second, surprised. Really. Third, doubtful. Really. Can you hear the difference? This is how you make your English sound alive. Let's continue. Now imagine this. You're having a real conversation in English. Someone asks, "So, what do you do for fun?" Most learners reply with something short, like, "I play games," or "I watch movies." That's okay, but it ends too quickly. If you want to keep the conversation going and sound more fluent, you need to expand your answer. Here's how you can do that. Give your main answer. Add a small detail or reason. Ask a question back. For example, A. So what do you do for fun? B. I love watching movies. Actually, I watch one almost every weekend. What about you? See how that sounds more complete? You gave a natural answer, added a personal detail, and then invited the other person to talk. That's how fluent speakers communicate. Now, your turn. Repeat after me. I love watching movies. Actually, I watch one almost every weekend. What about you? Good. Try changing the activity. For example, I enjoy cooking. It helps me relax after work. What about you? Or, I like going for walks. It's like the best way to clear my mind. Every time you practice, imagine you're really talking to someone. This kind of speaking habit builds real fluency. Now, let's do a short listening practice together. I'll say a short conversation twice, once slowly and once naturally. Your job is to listen carefully and try to understand every word. Ready? Slow version. A. Hey, do you want to grab some coffee later? B. Actually, I've got a meeting in an hour. Maybe after that? A. Sure. Just text me when you're done. Now, listen again, the natural, faster version. A. Do you want to grab some coffee later? B. Actually, I've got a meeting in an hour. Maybe after that? A. Sure. Just text me when you're done. Did you catch the difference? Notice how do you want to became dia wanna. This is natural spoken English. We connect words to speak faster and smoother. Let's practice saying that first line together. Do ya want to grab some coffee later? Say it again. Do ya want to grab some coffee later? Excellent. That's exactly how native speakers say it. Now, here's your mini task for today. I want you to think of one real situation where you might invite someone to do something. Maybe meet for lunch, study together, or go shopping. Write your sentence in the comments below using natural English. For example, hey, want to grab lunch later? Or, do you want to go shopping this weekend? I'll read your comments and correct them if needed. Before we finish part 2, let's quickly review what you've learned today. You learned about fillers like, well, actually, and kind of. You practiced intonation, how to make your voice sound natural and expressive. You learned how to expand your answers to sound more fluent and confident, and you started listening to real connected speech, like dia wanna. These are all essential skills for real-life conversations. Remember, don't worry about being perfect. English fluency is not about speaking fast. It's about speaking naturally with rhythm, tone, and confidence. In the next part, we'll practice how to keep a conversation going even when you don't know what to say next. You'll learn how to show interest, ask follow-up questions, and respond naturally so that your conversations never feel awkward or stop too soon. You're doing an amazing job, my dear students. Keep practicing with me every day. The more you listen and repeat, the more natural your English will become. I'm so proud of you, truly. Take a break, have a cup of water or tea, and when you're ready, join me in part 3. That's where your speaking confidence will grow even more. See you in part 3, and remember, you're not just learning English, you're learning how to connect with the world. I'm so happy you're here again, continuing your journey to speak natural, confident English. You've already learned how to greet people, use fillers, and speak with a natural tone. You're doing so well, really. You should be proud of yourself. Today, in part 3, we're going to focus on one of the most important skills in real conversations: how to keep the conversation going even when you don't know what to say next. Let me start with a question. Have you ever had a conversation in English where it suddenly went silent? Maybe you didn't know how to reply, or you ran out of ideas, and it just stopped. That's okay, it happens to everyone. But here's the good news. You can learn simple and natural ways to keep any conversation alive. You don't need to speak fast or use fancy vocabulary. You just need the right tools, and that's what we'll practice today. All right, let's get started. First, when you're talking to someone, remember this. Conversation is not only about speaking, it's also about listening. People love to feel heard. So if you want to be a good English speaker, you also need to be a good listener. Here's the first trick: show interest with small responses. These are short, natural sounds or phrases that show you're paying attention. For example, "Oh, really? Wow, that's interesting. Uh-huh. Yeah, I know what you mean. Seriously? Let's practice these together. Repeat after me slowly. Oh, really? Wow, that's interesting. Uh-huh. Yeah, I know what you mean. Seriously? Good. You see, you don't have to talk a lot. Just by saying one of these small responses, you show that you care about what the other person is saying. It keeps the conversation warm and flowing. Now let's listen to a short example. A. I just started learning how to cook last month. B. Oh, really? What kind of food do you like to cook? A. Mostly Italian food. I love making pasta. B. Wow, that's interesting. I've always wanted to learn that. See how natural that sounds? Person B didn't say long sentences. They just used small, kind, curious responses and asked one simple question. That's the secret. All right, now let's learn the second trick: ask follow-up questions. When someone tells you something, don't just say, "That's nice." Instead, ask something about it. For example, A. I went hiking last weekend. B. That's cool. Where did you go? Or A. I started a new job last month. B. Oh, nice. How's it going so far? These small questions make people feel comfortable and interested in talking more. Now let's practice together. I'll give you a sentence, and you think of a natural follow-up question in your mind. Ready? I watched a really good movie last night. What could you ask? Maybe, oh, really? What movie was it? Or nice, what was it about? Let's try another one. I'm learning how to play the guitar. Your follow-up question could be, that's awesome. How long have you been learning? Or cool. Why did you choose guitar? Good. Keep practicing like this. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. Here's a fun idea you can even practice with yourself. Think of a topic, say one sentence, and then reply to yourself with a follow-up question. It might sound funny, but it really works. Now, let's move to the third trick. Share something about yourself. A good conversation is like a dance. Both people take turns. So after you ask a question, you can add something about yourself. For example, A, I love traveling. B, me too. I went to Thailand last year. Where have you been? See that? You connected your experience with theirs. That's how real friendships start, by sharing little stories about your life. Let's do one more. A, I really enjoy reading. B, oh, same here. I read every night before bed. What kind of books do you like? Perfect. This makes the conversation two-way, not one-sided. Now, let's put everything together in one short, natural dialogue. Listen carefully first, then we'll practice it line by line. A, hey, what did you do over the weekend? B, oh, not much. I just went hiking with a few friends. A, oh really, that sounds fun. Where did you go? B, we went to a national park about an hour away. It was beautiful. A, wow, that's nice. I love nature. I usually go walking near my house. B, that's cool. Do you go often? A, yeah, almost every morning before work. It helps me relax. Now let's repeat it together slowly. Try to sound natural, like you're really talking to a friend. A, hey, what did you do over the weekend? B, oh, not much. I just went hiking with a few friends. A, oh really? That sounds fun. Where did you go? B, we went to a national park about an hour away. It was beautiful. A, wow, that's nice. I love nature. I usually go walking near my house. B, that's cool. Do you go often? A, yeah, almost every morning before work. It helps me relax. Excellent. Did you notice how natural and easy that conversation feels? No complicated grammar, just real, warm communication. Here's a quick challenge for you. I want you to write a short conversation like this in the comments. You can choose any topic, maybe about your weekend, your hobbies, or your studies. Try to include a small response like, oh really, or that's great, a follow-up question, and something personal that you share. I'll read your comments and give feedback. Before we finish part 3, let's talk about one more important thing: what to do when you don't understand something. Sometimes native speakers talk fast or use words you don't know. That's completely okay. Instead of staying silent, use polite expressions to ask for clarification. Here are a few examples. Sorry, could you say that again? I didn't catch that. What did you say? Could you please repeat that more slowly? I'm not sure I understand. What do you mean by that? Repeat after me slowly. Sorry, could you say that again? I didn't catch that. What did you say? Could you please repeat that more slowly? I'm not sure I understand. What do you mean by that? Perfect. These are polite, simple, and useful in any situation. And remember, asking for repetition doesn't make you look weak. It makes you look confident, curious, and smart. All right, let's quickly review what we learned in Part 3. How to use small responses to show interest. How to ask follow-up questions. How to share personal details to connect naturally. And how to ask for repetition politely when you don't understand. All of these skills are what make a real, enjoyable English conversation. In Part 4, we'll go deeper. You'll learn how to express your opinions, agree or disagree politely, and sound more confident in discussions just like native speakers do. You're doing such a great job. Every part of this lesson builds on the last, so make sure to keep going. Practice speaking out loud, comment your sentences below, and keep your motivation high. Remember, English is not just about rules. It's about connection, emotion, and confidence. Take a short break, and when you're ready, join me in Part 4. You're improving every single day. I'm proud of you truly. See you in the next part. I'm so happy you're here again, continuing your journey to speak better, more natural English. You've done so well so far, really. You're building strong listening, speaking, and conversation skills step by step. In Part 3, we practiced how to keep a conversation going, how to respond, ask follow-up questions, and show interest naturally. Today, in Part 4, we'll take things to the next level. You'll learn how to express your opinions, how to agree and disagree politely, and how to sound confident and respectful when sharing your thoughts in English. This is a very important skill because in real life, we don't always agree with everyone, and that's okay. What matters is how you express yourself. So, let's begin. First, let's start with how to share your opinion. When someone asks for your opinion, you don't have to jump straight into your answer. In English, we often use short phrases to introduce what we think. These make your speech sound smoother and more natural. For example, you can say, I think, in my opinion, to be honest, if you ask me, I feel that. Let's practice saying these together slowly. I think, in my opinion, to be honest, if you ask me, I feel that. Perfect. Now, let's use them in full sentences. I think learning English through movies is really effective. In my opinion, coffee is better than tea. To be honest, I prefer small towns to big cities. If you ask me, studying with friends is more fun. I feel that listening practice is the key to fluency. Good job. You see how natural these sound? You can use them in almost any conversation. Now let's move to the next part, how to agree politely. When you agree with someone, don't just say yes. Try using short, friendly phrases like these. Yeah, I totally agree. That's so true. I know, right? Exactly. You're right about that. I couldn't agree more. Let's repeat them together slowly. Yeah, I totally agree. That's so true. I know, right? Exactly. You're right about that. I couldn't agree more. Great. Now, let's listen to a short example. A. I think watching English movies helps you improve faster. B. Yeah, I totally agree. It's a fun way to learn new words. Can you feel how friendly and natural that sounds? It's not formal. It's just two people having a real conversation. Now, sometimes you might not agree, and that's completely fine. The key is to disagree politely. You don't want to sound rude or too direct. So instead of saying you're wrong, you can use softer phrases. Here are some polite ways to disagree. I see what you mean, but I think that's a good point. But I feel that I understand, but I'm not sure I agree. Maybe, but I have a different opinion. Well, actually, I think let's practice these together. I see what you mean, but I think that's a good point. But I feel that I understand, but I'm not sure I agree. Maybe, but I have a different opinion. Well, actually, I think excellent. Now let's see how this sounds in a real dialogue. A. I think studying grammar is the most important part of learning English. B. I see what you mean, but I think speaking practice is even more important. Perfect, polite, natural, respectful. Let's try another one. A. I prefer studying alone. It helps me focus. B. That's a good point, but I feel that studying with friends can be more motivating. Did you notice how both people share their opinions calmly and kindly? That's how confident speakers communicate. Now, here's a little exercise for you. I'll say a statement, and I want you to respond with either agreement or polite disagreement. Ready? Statement 1. Online classes are better than in-person classes. You could say, yeah, I totally agree. Or, I see what you mean, but I prefer learning face-to-face. Statement 2. English is harder than any other language. You could say, that's true. It can be challenging. Or, maybe, but I think it just takes practice. Statement 3. Coffee is better than tea. You could say, exactly. Or, I'm not sure I agree. I love tea. Great work. Remember in English, how you say something matters just as much as what you say. Now, let's add another layer expressing uncertainty. In real conversations, you might not always have a strong opinion. You might want to sound polite, flexible, or unsure. In that case, you can use phrases like, I'm not sure, but maybe, it depends, I guess, probably. Let's practice. I'm not sure, but I think it's going to rain. Maybe she'll come later. It depends on the situation. I guess you're right, probably, but we can check to be sure. These expressions make your English sound natural, just like how native speakers talk every day. Now, let's practice everything in a longer, realistic dialogue. Listen carefully. A. I think learning English online is better than going to school. B. I see what you mean, but I prefer learning in a classroom. I like face-to-face interaction. A. Yeah, that makes sense. But online lessons are more flexible. B. True. Maybe a mix of both is the best way. Did you hear how balanced that sounds? Neither person is arguing. They're sharing opinions, respecting each other, and keeping the conversation friendly. That's what real communication is all about. Now let's practice together. Repeat the dialogue slowly after me. A. I think learning English online is better than going to school. B. I see what you mean, but I prefer learning in a classroom. I like face-to-face interaction. A. Yeah, that makes sense, but online lessons are more flexible. B. True. Maybe a mix of both is the best way. Excellent. Here's your comment challenge for today. I want you to write one short opinion in the comments using one of these phrases. For example, I think learning English through songs is really fun. Or, to be honest, I prefer studying in the morning. Then, if you see someone else's comment, reply to them politely, either agree or disagree using the phrases we practiced today. This way, you'll practice real English communication right here in the comments section. All right, let's review what we learned in Part 4. How to express your opinions naturally. How to agree and disagree politely. How to express uncertainty when you're not sure, and how to keep your tone friendly and confident. These skills are the foundation of good communication at school, at work, or when meeting new people. In Part 5, we'll go even further. You'll learn how to express feelings and emotions in English, how to sound more human, more real, and more connected when you speak. You're doing amazing, my dear students. Each part you complete makes your English stronger, smoother, and more confident. Keep practicing with me. Repeat, listen, and speak out loud. That's how real progress happens. I'll see you in Part 5. Where we'll make your English sound even more natural and expressive. Keep going, you're doing great. I'm so proud of you for continuing this lesson series. You've already learned so much: how to greet people naturally, how to keep conversations going, how to share opinions politely, and how to agree or disagree with confidence. You're truly becoming a real English communicator, not just a learner. In today's lesson, Part 5, we're going to explore something very special: how to express feelings and emotions in English. Why is this important? Because language is not just words. It's emotion, it's tone, it's how we connect with people. When you speak English with emotion, your words become alive. People don't just understand you, they feel you. So today, we'll learn how to talk about emotions naturally, how to sound expressive, and how to make your English more human, more real, and more powerful. All right, let's begin. First, let's look at some common ways to express how you feel. We often start with the simple phrase, I feel, or I'm feeling. Let's practice. I feel happy. I'm feeling tired. I feel nervous. I'm feeling excited. Now, let's make them sound more natural, like real people say them in daily life. Instead of, I feel happy, you can say, I'm so happy today. I'm really tired after work. I'm kind of nervous about my test. I'm super excited for the weekend. Notice the difference? Adding words like so, really, kind of, super makes your sentence sound more emotional and natural. Let's repeat them together. I'm so happy today. I'm really tired after work. I'm kind of nervous about my test. I'm super excited for the weekend. Excellent. Now, let's talk about how to express positive emotions. Here are some examples. I'm excited when something good is going to happen. I'm happy when you feel joy. I'm proud of myself when you've done something good. I'm grateful when you feel thankful. I'm relaxed. It's when you feel calm. Let's repeat. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm proud of myself. I'm grateful. I'm relaxed. Great job. Now, let's move to negative emotions. Sometimes we feel sad, worried, or upset, and that's okay. We should know how to express those feelings too. Here are some examples. I'm sad. I'm upset. I'm tired. I'm stressed out. I feel lonely. Let's say them together. I'm sad. I'm upset. I'm tired. I'm stressed out. I feel lonely. Perfect. Now let's go deeper. In real life, we often use emotional expressions. With explanations, we don't just say how we feel, we say why. For example, I'm tired because I stayed up late last night. I'm excited because I'm starting a new job. I'm a bit worried because my exam is tomorrow. I'm happy because I passed my driving test. Adding because helps people understand you better and makes your conversation more natural. Let's try a little speaking practice. I'll say the first part of a sentence and you complete it in your mind. Ready? I'm happy because, I'm nervous because, I'm proud because, I'm sad because. Good. You can even write your answers in the comments below. Tell me how you feel today and why. I always love reading your thoughts. Now, let's practice how to react to someone else's feelings. This is important for building empathy in conversation. When someone tells you how they feel, you can respond naturally using short, caring expressions. If someone says, I'm tired, you can say, oh, you should take some rest. If someone says, I'm sad, you can say, I'm sorry to hear that. If someone says, I'm excited, you can say, that's great. Or, I'm happy for you. If someone says, I'm nervous, you can say, don't worry, you'll be fine. Let's practice together. I'll say the first line, you say the response. I'm tired. Oh, you should take some rest. I'm sad. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm excited. That's great. I'm happy for you. I'm nervous. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Excellent. Now let's listen to a short conversation that uses emotions naturally. A. Hey, you look tired today. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm just a bit stressed out. I have so much work to do. A. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you get some rest tonight. B. Thanks, I'll try. I'm just looking forward to the weekend. A. I get it. You deserve a break. Hang in there. Did you notice how natural that sounded? Both people showed care and emotion. That's what real English sounds like, not robotic, but warm and real. Let's practice repeating that dialogue together. A. Hey, you look tired today. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm just a bit stressed out. I have so much work to do. A. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you get some rest tonight. B. Thanks, I'll try. I'm just looking forward to the weekend. A. I get it. You deserve a break. Hang in there. Wonderful. Now, let's learn a few expressive phrases that native speakers use all the time when talking about emotions. These make your English sound more alive. For example, I'm over the moon means I'm very happy. I'm feeling blue means I'm a little sad. I'm on cloud nine means I'm extremely happy. I'm burnt out means I'm very tired or stressed. I'm freaking out. That means I'm really nervous or scared. Let's repeat them together. I'm over the moon. I'm feeling blue. I'm on cloud nine. I'm burnt out. I'm freaking out. Good. These idioms make your English sound like that of a native speaker. Here's a fun challenge. Write a sentence in the comments using one of these expressions. For example, I'm over the moon because I finally passed my exam. Or, I'm burnt out after studying all week. I'll read your sentences and correct them if needed. Now, let's talk about something subtle but powerful, using your voice to show emotion. When you speak English, your tone can express feelings just as much as your words. Say this line 3 times with different emotions. I can't believe it. First, say it happy and surprised. I can't believe it. Then, say it sad and disappointed. I can't believe it. Finally, say it angry. I can't believe it. See how one sentence can express totally different emotions just by changing your tone? That's how native speakers communicate with emotion and expression. So here's your small speaking practice for today. Choose one sentence and say it in 3 different emotions. Try recording your voice if you can and listen back. Notice how your tone changes. This will help you sound more natural and expressive when speaking English. Let's review what we learned in Part 5. How to express emotions using I feel and I'm feeling. How to describe positive and negative emotions naturally. How to respond to others with care and empathy. How to use expressive idioms like I'm over the moon or I'm burnt out, and how to use your tone of voice to express emotion. You've done an amazing job today. Speaking with emotion makes your English sound real, alive, and deeply human. In Part 6, we'll learn how to tell short stories and share experiences in English, just like native speakers do when talking about their lives. You'll discover how to use past tense naturally, how to make your stories interesting, and how to connect with your listener emotionally. You're doing great, my dear students. Keep your motivation high, and don't forget to practice out loud. Every time you speak, you're building real confidence. Take a short break, drink some water, and when you're ready, come join me in Part 6. I'll see you there, and remember, English becomes powerful when you speak it with feeling. I'm so proud of how far you've come. You've practiced greetings, opinions, emotions, and empathy, all the skills that make English conversations real and alive. Today, in Part 6, we'll take another exciting step forward. We're going to learn how to tell short stories and share experiences in English. Why is storytelling so important? Because real English conversations are full of stories. When you talk to friends, co-workers, or even strangers, you often share small stories about what happened to you, how you felt, or something funny that happened recently. If you can tell a story clearly, with emotion and confidence, people will enjoy listening to you. You'll sound fluent, natural, and interesting. So, in this lesson, I'll teach you how to start a short story naturally, how to organize your ideas clearly, how to use past tense correctly, how to make your story sound engaging and real. All right, let's get started. First, how do native speakers usually begin a short story? They don't start with once upon a time, that's for fairy tales. In daily life, we start more naturally, like this. You won't believe what happened to me yesterday. I had the funniest experience last week. Something really strange happened this morning. Let me tell you about a time when I got lost. These openers immediately catch attention. They make people curious. Let's practice saying them together. You won't believe what happened to me yesterday. I had the funniest experience last week. Something really strange happened this morning. Let me tell you about a time when I got lost. Perfect. These are great ways to start your story. Now, let's look at the structure of a short story. A good story in conversation usually has 3 simple parts. The beginning. What happened and when? The middle. The main event or problem. The end, the result, or how you felt. Let's look at a short example. I was on my way to work yesterday when something funny happened. I got on the wrong bus. I didn't notice until I looked outside and saw totally unfamiliar streets. I laughed so hard because it took me 10 minutes to realize I was going the wrong way. Finally, I got off, crossed the street, and took the bus back. It was such a silly morning, but now it's a funny memory. Did you hear the structure? Beginning. I was on my way to work yesterday. Middle. I got on the wrong bus. End. I laughed, took another bus, and it became a funny memory. Simple, clear, and real. Now, let's practice together. I'll say a story, and then I'll pause for you to repeat it out loud. Ready? I was going to the supermarket last weekend. But when I got there, I realized I forgot my wallet at home. So I had to walk all the way back to get it. I felt so embarrassed, but I also laughed at myself. Good job, you see? That's a short, real story, and it sounds natural in conversation. Now let's talk about the past tense, because storytelling in English usually happens in the past. Here are some key past tense verbs we use often. Go, went. See, saw. Do, did. Eat, ate. Get, got. Have had, make, made. Feel. Let's repeat a few examples together. I went to the park. I saw my friend. I did my homework. I ate dinner late. I got a new job. I had a great weekend. I made a mistake. I felt so happy. Nice work. Now let's listen to another short conversation between 2 people sharing experiences. A. Hey, how was your weekend? B. It was great. I went hiking with my friends. A. Oh, really? Where did you go? B. We went to Blue Hill Park. It was so beautiful. A. That sounds nice. How long did you hike? B. About 3 hours. My legs were so tired, but it was worth it. Simple, right? But this is how real people talk about their experiences every day. Now, let's repeat the dialogue together slowly. A. Hey, how was your weekend? B. It was great. I went hiking with my friends. A. Oh, really? Where did you go? We went to Blue Hill Park. It was so beautiful. A. That sounds nice. How long did you hike? B. About 3 hours. My legs were so tired, but it was worth it. Perfect. Now, here's an important tip when you tell a story. Try to use connecting words to make it flow smoothly. Some useful connecting words are first, then, after that, finally. Let's try using them in a short story. First, I woke up late this morning. Then, I realized my phone battery was dead. After that, I rushed to get ready for work. Finally, I made it just in time. Let's repeat that story together. First, I woke up late this morning. Then, I realized my phone battery was dead. After that, I rushed to get ready for work. Finally, I made it just in time. Beautiful. Do you notice how natural and clear that sounds? These connecting words help listeners follow your story easily. Now, let's make the story sound emotional by adding expressions and feelings. First, I woke up late this morning. I couldn't believe I overslept. Then I realized my phone battery was dead. Ugh, not again. After that, I rushed to get ready for work. It was total chaos. Finally, I made it just in time. I felt so relieved. Now it sounds more like real life, right? Let's practice again, with feeling. Try saying it out loud. Make it dramatic and expressive. Remember, storytelling in English is not about being perfect. It's about sharing your experience naturally, with emotion and rhythm. Let me ask you, when was the last time something funny or surprising happened to you? Try to think of one small moment. Maybe you forgot something, got lost, or met someone interesting. Now, imagine telling that story in English using what you've learned. Start with, "You won't believe what happened to me," or "Something funny happened yesterday." Then describe what happened using simple past tense verbs. Add connecting words first, then, after that, finally, and end with how you felt. You can even write your short story in the comments below. I'll read them and correct your sentences if needed. Now, here's a small listening and speaking challenge for you. I'll tell you a short story, and then I'll ask a few questions. Listen carefully. Last weekend, I went to a cafe near my house. I ordered a cup of coffee and started reading a book. After a few minutes, I realized I had taken someone else's drink by mistake. The barista came over and said, "Excuse me, that's not your coffee." I was so embarrassed. Everyone laughed, including me. I said sorry and got my real coffee. It was a funny moment I'll never forget. Now, can you answer these questions? Where did I go last weekend? What mistake did I make? How did I feel? Think about your answers and say them out loud. Here are the correct answers. I went to a cafe near my house. I took someone else's drink by mistake. I felt embarrassed, but also laughed. Did you get them right? Great job! This is how you build both your listening and speaking skills by listening carefully, then trying to answer from memory. Let's review what we learned in Part 6. How to start a short story naturally. How to structure your story clearly, beginning, middle, and end. How to use the past tense correctly. How to connect ideas with words like first, then, after that, and finally. How to make your story emotional, funny, or interesting like a real conversation. You're doing so well. Every part of this series builds your confidence step by step. In Part 7, we'll learn something equally exciting: how to ask and answer deeper questions in English to make your conversations more meaningful. You'll learn how to express opinions, talk about life experiences, and connect with others on a deeper level, all in natural, fluent English. Take a short break, and when you're ready, join me in Part 7. I can't wait to continue this journey with you. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and remember, your English story is just beginning, and you're doing beautifully. I'm so happy you're still here, continuing your journey to fluent, confident English. You've done amazing work so far. You've learned how to express your emotions, share your stories, and speak naturally with feeling and connection. Now, in Part 7, we're going to go even deeper. Today's focus is on how to ask and answer meaningful questions in English, the kind of questions that make people open up, share more, and truly connect with you. You see, English isn't just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about people. And when you learn to ask good questions, questions that show care, curiosity, and interest, your conversations become deeper and more memorable. So today we'll learn how to ask natural, friendly questions, how to answer in a clear and expressive way, how to build longer, more interesting conversations. Let's begin. When most English learners talk, they often use very simple questions like, "How are you? What do you do? Where are you from?" Those are fine, but they can sound a little mechanical if that's all you ask. To make real, warm connections, you can ask more open, emotional questions. For example, instead of "How are you?" try "How are you feeling today?" Or "How's your day going so far?" Instead of "What do you do?" try "What do you enjoy most about your job?" Instead of "Where are you from?" try "What's your hometown like? Do you hear the difference?" These questions invite longer, deeper answers. Let's practice them together. How are you feeling today? How's your day going so far? What do you enjoy most about your job? What's your hometown like? Perfect. Now let's look at how to answer these questions naturally. When someone asks, "How are you feeling today?" instead of just saying, "I'm fine," try to add a little detail. For example, "I'm feeling great today. I finally finished my big project." Or, "I'm a bit tired, but I'm happy because I went for a morning walk." When someone asks, "What do you enjoy most about your job?" you can say, "I really enjoy working with people. Every day is different." Or, "I love the creative part. It makes me feel proud of what I do." And if someone asks, "What's your hometown like?" you could say, "It's a small, peaceful place with lots of nature." Or, "It's a busy city full of energy and great food. See? You don't have to say a lot, just enough to make your answer feel real and personal. Now, let's look at another group of questions that start with why and how. These are powerful because they make conversations deeper. For example, why did you choose your job? How did you learn English? Why do you like traveling? How do you stay motivated? When you ask why or how, people have to explain, and that's when the conversation grows. Let's practice together. I'll ask, and you answer out loud. Why are you learning English? Think about your answer, maybe to travel, study, or make new friends. How do you practice English every day? Think about your routine. Maybe you watch videos, read books, or speak with friends. Great. Now, here's a short conversation using deeper questions. Listen carefully. A. Hey, you speak English really well. How did you learn? B. Thanks. I started watching English movies when I was in high school. I also practice speaking with my friends. A. That's great. What's your favorite movie to practice with? B. Probably Forrest Gump. It has clear pronunciation and emotional scenes. A. Nice choice. I love that one too. Simple, natural, and friendly. Let's repeat it together slowly. A. Hey, you speak English really well. How did you learn? B. Thanks. I started watching English movies when I was in high school. I also practice speaking with my friends. A. That's great. What's your favorite movie to practice with? B. Probably Forrest Gump. It has clear pronunciation and emotional scenes. A. Nice choice. I love that one too. Wonderful. Now, I want you to notice something important. The secret of a natural conversation is not just asking questions. It's listening and reacting. When someone answers, don't jump to another question immediately. React to what they said. For example, A. I learned English by watching movies. B. Really? That's such a fun way to learn. What kind of movies do you like? Here, you react first. That's such a fun way to learn. Then continue the topic. What kind of movies do you like? Let's practice this technique. React and continue. I'll give you a sentence. You react and continue. I started a new job last week. Your turn, maybe. Oh, congratulations. How's it going so far? I'm learning to cook. You could say, that's great. What's the first dish you made? I just came back from a trip. You could say, wow, nice. Where did you go? Perfect. This is how you sound natural, curious, and friendly in English. Now, let's look at a few conversation builders that native speakers often use to show interest. Really? That's interesting. Wow, I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool. I see what you mean. Let's repeat them together. Really? That's interesting. Wow, I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool. I see what you mean. These short expressions make your conversations sound alive and natural. Here's a short dialogue using them. A. I've been learning English for 5 years. B. Really? That's impressive. A. Yeah, I started when I was in middle school. B. Oh, that's cool. Do you enjoy learning now? A. I do. It feels more natural now. B. That's interesting. You've come a long way. You see, these small phrases make a big difference. Now, let's practice expressing opinions, because when someone asks a deep question, you often need to share your thoughts. Let's look at some useful phrases to start your opinion. I think, in my opinion, to me, I believe, I guess. For example, I think learning English online is very effective. In my opinion, movies are a great way to improve listening. To me, speaking is the hardest part of learning English. Let's repeat those examples together. I think learning English online is very effective. In my opinion, movies are a great way to improve listening. To me, speaking is the hardest part of learning English. Excellent. Now, let's combine everything we've learned in Part 7, asking, reacting, and sharing opinions into one natural conversation. A. What do you like most about learning English? I think I like the feeling of understanding people from other countries. A. That's interesting. So, do you practice every day? B. Yes, I try to. I watch YouTube videos and repeat what I hear. A. Oh, that's cool. I do that too sometimes. Which channels do you watch? B. Mostly channels that teach real conversations. They help me a lot. This sounds so natural, right? Two people sharing, listening, and connecting. Now it's your turn. Try to imagine having this kind of conversation in your daily life with your classmates, your teacher, or even online friends. Here's a small practice task for you. Think of 3 meaningful questions you could ask someone in English. For example, what's one thing that makes you happy? What's something new you learned recently? How do you relax after a busy day? Then try to answer those questions yourself. Say them out loud, even record yourself speaking. This will help you build natural fluency and confidence. Before we end, let's review what we learned today. How to ask friendly and meaningful questions. How to react to answers naturally. How to share your own opinions clearly. How to build longer and deeper conversations in English. You did a wonderful job today. The more you practice these kinds of conversations, the more natural your English will become. In Part 8, we'll learn how to give compliments, show appreciation, and respond politely, a very important skill for real-life English communication. You'll learn how to sound kind, confident, and respectful in every situation. So take a short break, and when you're ready, join me in Part 8. Keep going, my dear students. You're speaking with more confidence, more warmth, and more heart every single day. And that's what real English fluency is all about. I'm so happy to see your progress. You've been doing an amazing job practicing emotions, storytelling, and deep conversations. You're not just learning English anymore, you're living it. In today's lesson, Part 8, we'll focus on something that makes conversations warm, friendly, and respectful, giving compliments and showing appreciation. These 2 skills are small but very powerful. When you learn to compliment someone naturally, you make them feel good. When you show appreciation, you build real connections. And both are important in English-speaking culture. So today, we'll learn how to give compliments naturally, how to respond politely to compliments, how to show appreciation and gratitude in everyday English, how to use these expressions in real conversations. Let's begin. First, what is a compliment? A compliment is when you say something nice about someone, their work, their appearance, or their actions. For example, "You look great today. I love your outfit. You did an amazing job. You're really good at cooking. You have a beautiful smile." Let's repeat them together. "You look great today. I love your outfit. You did an amazing job. You're really good at cooking. You have a beautiful smile." Perfect. Now, in English, compliments are very common, especially in friendly or casual situations, but it's important to sound natural, not too formal or exaggerated. For example, instead of saying, "Your English is very good," you can say, "Yeah, your English sounds really natural," or "You speak English so clearly, I love your pronunciation." These sound warmer and more personal. Let's practice. "Your English sounds really natural. You speak English so clearly, I love your pronunciation. Good job." Now, how do we respond when someone gives us a compliment? In some cultures, people feel shy or uncomfortable when they get compliments. But in English, it's polite to accept them with a smile. Here are some natural ways to respond. "Thank you." "Thanks, that's so kind of you." "Thanks, I really appreciate that." "Thanks, I worked hard on it." "Thanks, that means a lot to me." Let's repeat. "Thank you." "Thanks, that's so kind of you." "Thanks, I really appreciate that." "Thanks, I worked hard on it." "Thanks, that means a lot to me." Excellent. Let's listen to a short dialogue that uses compliments and responses naturally. A. "Hey, I really like your presentation today. You spoke so confidently." B. "Thanks. That means a lot. I was nervous, but I practiced a lot." A. "Well, it really showed. You did great." B. "Thank you so much. I appreciate that." You see how polite and friendly that sounds? Both people sound positive and respectful. Now let's repeat the dialogue together. A. "Hey, I really like your presentation today. You spoke so confidently." B. "Thanks. That means a lot. I was nervous, but I practiced a lot." A. "Well, it really showed. You did great." B. "Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Beautiful." Now, let's talk about showing appreciation, saying thank you in different ways. In English, there are many ways to express gratitude depending on the situation. Here are some common phrases. "Thank you, thanks a lot, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. That means a lot. I'm so grateful. You're the best." Let's repeat them slowly. "Thank you, thanks a lot, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. That means a lot. I'm so grateful. You're the best." Good. Now, let's practice using them in short conversations. A. "Here, I made you some tea." B. "Oh, thanks so much. That's really kind of you." A. "I helped you with your homework." B. "Thank you. I really appreciate it." A. "You did great in the meeting today." B. "Thanks. That means a lot." Natural and simple, right? Now, let's learn a few advanced appreciation expressions you can use in formal or professional settings. For example, I truly appreciate your help. Thank you for your time. I'm very grateful for your support. I can't thank you enough. I really value your advice. Let's repeat them together. I truly appreciate your help. Thank you for your time. I'm very grateful for your support. I can't thank you enough. I really value your advice. Wonderful. Now, I want to teach you something native speakers often do. They combine compliments and gratitude in the same sentence. For example, you're such a kind person. Thank you for helping me. You did an amazing job, and I really appreciate your effort. You always know how to make people smile. Thank you for that. Let's repeat those sentences. You're such a kind person. Thank you for helping me. You did an amazing job, and I really appreciate your effort. You always know how to make people smile. Thank you for that. Perfect. Now let's have a little challenge. I'll give you a situation, and you think of what to say. Your friend helped you move to a new house. What do you say? Example. Thanks so much for your help. You made everything easier. Your teacher gave you great feedback on your project. What do you say? Example. Thank you so much for your advice. It really helped me improve. Your coworker said you did a great job on a report. How do you respond? Example. Thanks. That means a lot. I worked hard on it. Well done. These are real-life situations where compliments and appreciation make a difference. Now, let's talk about tone and body language because words alone aren't enough. When you give a compliment or say thank you, always smile. A real smile makes your words feel sincere. If you're speaking face-to-face, make eye contact. And if you're speaking online, use a warm, friendly tone. For example, say, thank you, not flat and quiet, but with energy and warmth. Smile while saying, you did an amazing job, and it instantly sounds genuine. Let's practice this feeling together. Take a deep breath, smile, and say, you look great today. Thanks so much for helping me. I really appreciate your support. How does that feel? Good, right? That's real connection through kindness and sincerity. Now, let's listen to one more natural conversation. A. I just wanted to say you did such a great job organizing the event today. Everything went perfectly. B. Thank you. That means so much. I worked really hard on it. A. Well, it showed. Everyone had a great time. B. I'm so happy to hear that. Thanks again for saying it. Notice how natural and balanced this sounds. Both people show kindness and appreciation. That's how you build relationships in English. Let's repeat that dialogue together, slowly. A. I just wanted to say you did such a great job organizing the event today. Everything went perfectly. B. Thank you. That means so much. I worked really hard on it. A. Well, it showed. Everyone had a great time. B. I'm so happy to hear that. Thanks again for saying it. Wonderful. Now here's a quick review of what we learned in Part 8. How to give compliments naturally and sincerely. how to respond politely and confidently, how to express gratitude in both casual and formal ways, how to combine kindness, tone, and emotion to make your English feel alive. You've done beautifully today. These skills might seem simple, but they are the heart of real communication. A kind word in English can make someone's day brighter. In Part 9, we'll move to another essential part of real-life English, handling difficult situations and polite disagreement. You'll learn how to stay calm, confident, and respectful even when you don't agree with someone. So take a short break, drink some water, and when you're ready, join me in Part 9. Remember, your words have power when you use them with kindness. Your English becomes not just fluent, but truly beautiful. I'm so proud of how far you've come. You've learned how to express emotions, tell stories, and give compliments with confidence. Now, it's time to take your English to the next level by learning how to handle difficult situations and disagree politely in English. This skill is very important for real-life conversations. Why? Because in English-speaking cultures, people often share opinions, and sometimes they don't agree. But disagreement doesn't mean conflict. In English, it's all about how you disagree with calmness, respect, and clear communication. In this lesson, we'll learn how to express disagreement politely, how to give your opinion confidently but respectfully, how to calm a tense conversation, how to agree to disagree and still stay friendly. Let's begin. First, let's talk about disagreeing politely. Imagine your friend says something you don't agree with. You don't want to sound rude or too direct. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," which sounds strong, native speakers use softer phrases. Here are some examples. "I see what you mean, but I think," "That's a good point, but I feel," "I understand your opinion, but in my experience, I'm not sure I agree with that." "I respect your view, but I have a different perspective." Let's repeat them together. "I see what you mean, but I think," "That's a good point, but I feel," "I understand your opinion, but in my experience, I'm not sure I agree with that." "I respect your view, but I have a different perspective." Wonderful! These expressions help you sound polite, calm, and open-minded, not angry or defensive. Now, let's listen to a short example. A. "I think working from home is not productive." B. "I see what you mean, but I think it really depends on the person. Some people are more focused at home." See how polite that sounds? B doesn't say, "You're wrong." They acknowledge A's opinion first, then share their own. Let's repeat that conversation. A. "I think working from home is not productive." B. "I see what you mean, but I think it really depends on the person. Some people are more focused at home." Excellent. Now, here's another common situation. Someone says something you partly agree with, but not completely. In that case, you can use partly agree expressions. For example, "I agree with you to some extent, but," "You're right about that, but I also think," "I agree with some parts, but not all." That's true, but there's another side to it. Let's repeat them together. "I agree with you to some extent, but," You're right about that, but I also think I agree with some parts, but not all. That's true, but there's another side to it. Perfect. Now let's practice with another mini dialogue. A. Watching TV helps me relax after work. B. That's true, but there's another side to it. Sometimes too much screen time can make you feel tired. You see how polite and balanced that sounds? That's how English speakers discuss gently, respectfully, and logically. Now, let's talk about giving opinions. When you want to share what you think, use these natural expressions. I think, in my opinion, from my point of view, if you ask me, to me it seems like, let's repeat together. I think, in my opinion, from my point of view, if you ask me, to me it seems like, now, let's combine them with our polite disagreement expressions. For example, I see what you mean, but in my opinion, traveling helps people grow. I understand your point, but from my experience, online learning can be very effective. That's a good point, but if you ask me, communication is more important than grammar. Try repeating them slowly after me. I see what you mean, but in my opinion, traveling helps people grow. I understand your point, but from my experience, online learning can be very effective. That's a good point, but if you ask me, communication is more important than grammar. Well done. Now, let's move to something a bit more emotional, calming, a tense conversation. Sometimes, people might get upset or emotional when discussing something serious. In those moments, your tone and words matter more than anything. Here are some calm, polite phrases you can use. Let's stay calm and talk this through. I understand this is a sensitive topic. I think we both want the same thing. Maybe we can find a middle ground. I respect your opinion, even if I see it differently. Let's repeat them. Let's stay calm and talk this through. I understand this is a sensitive topic. I think we both want the same thing. Maybe we can find a middle ground. I respect your opinion, even if I see it differently. Perfect. Let's listen to a short dialogue that shows calm and respect. A. I really think everyone should wake up early. B. I understand why you feel that way. It's great to start the day early, but some people are more productive at night. A. I guess that's true. Maybe it depends on the person. B. Exactly. Everyone's different. You see how they both stay polite and flexible? That's what real communication looks like. Two people listening and responding thoughtfully. Now let's repeat that dialogue. A. I really think everyone should wake up early. B. I understand why you feel that way. It's great to start the day early, but some people are more productive at night. A. I guess that's true. Maybe it depends on the person. B. Exactly. Everyone's different. Beautifully done. Now, sometimes we need to end a disagreement politely without arguing or sounding negative. Here are a few phrases that help. I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. You might be right, let's see what happens. That's an interesting point. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. It's okay that we see things differently. Let's repeat them. I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. You might be right. Let's see what happens. That's an interesting point. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. It's okay that we see things differently. Perfect. Here's a little practice exercise for you. I'll describe a situation and you try to think of a polite response. Your coworker says, "I think learning grammar is a waste of time." You can say, "I see what you mean, but I think grammar helps us understand structure." Your friend says, "Movies are better than books." You can say, "That's true sometimes, but in my opinion, books let us imagine more." Your classmate says, "I don't think online learning works." You can say, "I understand your point, but I've had good experiences with online classes." Excellent practice. You're doing great. Now, one last tip. Your tone and body language matter just as much as your words. If you disagree, keep your voice calm and steady. Avoid crossing your arms or raising your eyebrows that can look defensive. Instead, nod slightly and smile when the other person speaks. Show that you're listening, even when you don't agree. That's how native speakers build mutual respect. So, let's review what you've learned in Part 9. You learned how to disagree politely, how to express opinions respectfully, how to calm tense conversations, and how to end disagreements in a friendly way. These are powerful skills not just for English, but for life. When you speak with kindness and control, people listen to you more. They trust you. That's what true fluency feels like. Calm, confident, and connected. In Part 10, we'll move into one of the most interesting areas of communication, building deeper connections through stories and personal experiences. You'll learn how to share short stories, express lessons, and connect emotionally in English, just like native speakers do. So take a short break, then come back for Part 10. You're doing amazing, and I'm so proud of how natural your English sounds now. Keep going, and remember, speaking English is not just about words. It's about how you make people feel. I hope you're feeling confident, calm, and proud because you've already come so far. You can now express emotions, agree and disagree politely, show appreciation, and hold real conversations. That's incredible progress. In Part 10, we're going even deeper into one of the most powerful tools for real communication, storytelling. When you learn how to tell short stories in English, you stop sounding like a student and start sounding like a real communicator. Stories make people listen. Stories connect people. Stories help others understand who you are, your experiences, your lessons, your emotions. So today, we'll learn how to tell a short, natural story in English, how to organize your story so it's clear and interesting, how to express feelings and lessons from your story, how to use stories to build real connections in conversation. Let's begin. First, let's understand what makes a good story. A story is not just what happened. A good story has 3 parts. The beginning, what happened first, who was there, where you were. The middle, what problem, surprise, or emotion you experienced. The ending, what you learned, how it ended, or how you felt. Let's look at a simple example. I remember one time when I missed my flight. I was traveling to New York for an important job interview. Everything was ready, but there was a huge traffic jam. I arrived at the airport too late. At first, I was so frustrated. But then, I met a kind woman at the cafe who worked for the airline. She helped me find another flight for the same day. I'll never forget her kindness. That experience taught me to stay calm when things go wrong. You see, it's short, natural, emotional, and real. That's what makes people listen. Now let's break it down together. Beginning. I remember one time when I missed my flight. I was traveling to New York for an important job interview. Middle. There was a huge traffic jam. I arrived too late. I was frustrated, but a kind woman helped me. Ending. She helped me find another flight. That experience taught me to stay calm when things go wrong. It's simple but powerful. Now, let's practice. Think of a small experience in your life, maybe something funny, embarrassing, or inspiring. For example, the first time you spoke English with a foreigner, a time you got lost and found your way again, a time someone surprised you with kindness. I'll help you with the structure. Start with I remember one time when, then describe what happened, how you felt, and what you learned. Let's practice one together. I remember one time when I got lost in another city. I didn't speak the language, and my phone battery was dead. I was nervous. Then, a local man saw me and asked if I needed help. He couldn't speak my language, but he smiled and pointed me in the right direction. I'll always remember that kindness. It taught me that people can understand each other even without many words. Let's repeat some key sentences from that story. I remember one time when I got lost in another city. I was nervous. Then a local man saw me and asked if I needed help. I'll always remember that kindness. It taught me that people can understand each other even without many words. Beautifully done. Now, let's talk about connecting stories to conversations. Native speakers often share small stories in daily life, not long or complicated ones, but short moments that explain their feelings. For example, A, I hate when my phone dies. B, oh, I know, that happened to me once. I was in a train station, my phone died, and I couldn't call anyone. It was terrible. That's a natural, friendly way to keep a conversation going. You're not just agreeing, you're adding your own experience. Let's try another one. A, I love learning languages. B, me too. When I first started learning English, I used to listen to songs and repeat the lyrics. It helped me so much. See how that feels natural and warm? That's how English speakers bond through small personal stories. Now, let's practice telling a story about a lesson learned. I'll tell you one, and then we'll repeat and analyze it together. When I first moved to the United States, I was shy to speak English. I was afraid of making mistakes, but one day, I met a friendly woman at the supermarket. She started talking to me, and I had to respond. I spoke slowly, but she smiled and listened patiently. I realized that people don't care if your English is perfect, they care if you try. From that day, I started speaking more, and my English improved so fast. Now, let's repeat some parts together. I was afraid of making mistakes, but one day I met a friendly woman at the supermarket. She smiled and listened patiently. I realized that people don't care if your English is perfect, they care if you try. That's a real English lesson inside a story. Now, let's talk about how to express emotions naturally in storytelling. Here are some useful expressions. Instead, I was so nervous. I couldn't believe it. I was really excited. It was embarrassing. I felt so proud. I didn't know what to do. I was so happy I could cry. Let's repeat them together. I was so nervous. I couldn't believe it. I was really excited. It was embarrassing. I felt so proud. I didn't know what to do. I was so happy I could cry. These emotional expressions make your story alive and real. Now, here's a small challenge for you. Try to answer these questions out loud in English. What's one experience that taught you something important? How did you feel during that moment? What did you learn from it? Think about it for a moment. If you want, you can write your short story in the comments. I'd love to read them and maybe share some in a future video. Now, let's look at how native speakers use small story starters in conversation. They often begin with, I remember when, one time, this happened to me once. You won't believe what happened to me the other day. Let's repeat them together. I remember when, one time, this happened to me once. You won't believe what happened to me the other day. You can use any of these to start telling a small, natural story in English. For example, the other day I was at a cafe and I met someone from my hometown in another country. What a small world. It's simple, emotional, and sounds completely natural. Now, let's do a little listening and speaking practice together. I'll read a short story and then you'll repeat it after me slowly. I remember when I tried cooking for the first time. I wanted to make spaghetti for my family, but I added too much salt. Everyone laughed, and we ordered pizza instead. It was funny, and I learned to always taste my food before serving it. Now repeat after me. I remember when I tried cooking for the first time. I wanted to make spaghetti for my family, but I added too much salt. Everyone laughed, and we ordered pizza instead. It was funny, and I learned to always taste my food before serving it. Perfect! That's storytelling in simple, real English. Let's summarize what you learned in Part 10. How to tell short stories in English. How to organize your story, beginning, middle, ending. How to express emotions and lessons learned. How to use storytelling to connect with people. You see, English fluency is not just about vocabulary or grammar. It's about sharing your life, your feelings, your stories, your world in a language others can understand. In Part 11, our final lesson in this series, we'll bring everything together. You'll learn how to combine all these skills, emotions, opinions, gratitude, storytelling, and confidence to speak English naturally in any situation. It's going to be powerful, inspiring, and full of motivation for your English journey. So take a deep breath, smile, and get ready for our final part. I'm so proud of you. You're not just learning English, you're learning how to express your beautiful self in another language. You've made it to the final part, part 11. And I want to begin by saying, I am so proud of you. You've completed a full journey of listening, speaking, and growing in confidence. Today, we'll bring everything together, every skill, every phrase, every emotion you've learned, and use them to speak English naturally in real conversations. So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, smile. You've earned this moment. In this final part, we'll review the key skills you've learned in this series. Practice putting them together in real-life conversation examples. Talk about how to continue improving your English every day naturally and confidently. Let's begin with a short review. In part 1, you learn to listen actively, not just with your ears, but with your heart. You learn that communication starts with connection. In part 2, we practice sounding natural, using tone, rhythm, and emotion to make your English feel alive. In part 3, we explore daily English situations, greetings, small talk, and how to build warm connections. In part 4, you learned how to show empathy and care to make your words kind and meaningful. In part 5, we focused on asking and answering questions, naturally keeping a conversation flowing. In part 6, you learned how to express feelings from happiness and excitement to disappointment and surprise. In part 7, we practiced talking about life, goals, and dreams using English to express your heart. In part 8, we learned how to give compliments and show appreciation, small but powerful ways to connect with people. In part 9, you practiced disagreeing politely and staying calm in difficult situations. And in part 10, you learned the art of storytelling.